Steve from HR. That's a great name. Oh.
Thank you. Hi everyone. We are the Goof Troop, and we are here to perform a show for you today.
Hmm.
Uh, it's called A Christmas Carol. I will be
Yeah.
Scrooge, and everyone else will also be Scrooge. It's an
I
interpretive
play
piece.
all of the ghosts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
It's pretty exceptional.
all the ghosts are just What was Scrooge's partner's name again? Because I was about to say Bob Marley, and I know that's not right.
Definitely not Bob
Chains
Marley.
McGee. I don't give a shit.
Now
No
it
one
needs
needs
to
to
be
know
Bob
his name.
Marley.
All right, Bob Marley plays
Bob
all the
Marley.
ghosts.
Yeah, that needs to work out. Okay.
No, it's me dressed as Bob Marley doing my worst Bob
Playing
Marley
all the
impression,
ghosts. Perfect.
playing all the ghosts.
Awesome.
Jacob Marley.
Jacob. See, I was kind of close.
Okay. Yeah, you were really close.
All right. Anyway, I'm Will.
Hello, Will.
AKA Steve, AKA the letter M.
Yes. Also RDM.
Sometimes.
Hi, I'm Kit. I'm also the reason we're late today. I also play the character Anna, the tiefling cleric barbarian who just simps for all the people.
I'm Dylan. I play Ruby, the druid monk who is about to find the keys to felling these trees with ease.
I love you so dearly. That is amazing.
I feel like Ruby needs to multi-class into Bard.
Yeah.
I've got too many. I'm having a hard enough time picking which levels of which to do now. I can't introduce a third.
I'm Felix. I play Kiva, our tiny rogue piece of shit.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Leah. I play Stenna, half-elf wizard necromancer who likes to look at bones.
Don't use them. Just look at them. They're just cool to look at.
She only wants to use them if they are actively a whole person right now.
If they're already assembled, it's great.
Yeah. Man, just like, wow.
And I'm
That's
a
neat.
ghost.
Yes, Will.
You're a German ghost.
A German ghost. Yeah.
These
We will have
new characters are
everything
so great.
neat and tidy.
It's very funny because both of my parents actually speak German.
This is very nice. It's a good language, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Surprisingly though, I only learned my German accent from the pigs in the Shrek movies.
I mean, where else are you really going to learn them?
That's true, that's true.
All right. So
It's truly a masterclass.
Mm-hmm.
also, I learned my French accent from the one scene with the Muffin Man who lives on Jewelry Lane in Shrek 2, obviously.
Gingy!
Gingy!
The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man!
Anyway.
Who lives on Drury Lane?
Because I know the Muffin Man lives a Drury Lane.
We last left off. Our group was gathering together and getting ready to begin a ostensibly contractual debate with a large nation level superpower.
Yeah.
Kiva had gone and met with them, poured them drinks, and talked with the three representatives of the Council of 12 who had come to visit, that being Threll, the head of the Cult of Plenty, Lord Brandlebaum, or Brandlebum, or Needlebutt, or whatever you want to call him.
It's the last.
I don't even care anymore. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. Lord of the Rootway and leader of the Wild Hunt, and Grand Salamance Tyrese, who is head of what is known as the Temple of Beams.
The Temple of Beans.
Beams.
Beams.
Beams. Not beans.
They worship the god of legumes.
They
They're pretty cool.
Her left hand is the pinto bean, and on her right is the humble black bean.
The humble black bean is just the best bean. You
It's true.
can't fight.
Lima beans are the fallen angels.
The
Yeah.
three of which who are here to negotiate both the benefits and requirements for this town to become an official capital of the empire, as well as, so at a face, they're here for the interests of the empire, but truly they are here for the interests of themselves, their own faction, and their own kingdoms. You were tasked with aiding the town in the best way you possibly could, and making sure that this place does not become stripped of its freedom, resources, or, already lack of quality of life made to have less quality of life. Currently, as things stand, it is the late afternoon, the day before the meeting is going to take place. Kiva has finished and returned from meeting with the three lords, and currently the party is gathered together with Remus, trying to find a way to better deal with these trees. As well, once you guys are done with this, I have a few checks to make before we move on to the next day.
What's happening?
Welcome back, Kit. Are you okay? You're muted, just so you know.
A dog attacked me.
Unfortunate.
It was a brutal attack.
Roll for initiative.
Oh shit! I definitely got a 1.
Kick this dog.
I definitely got a 1 because this dog just like rammed through the entire
Well,
setup.
no, that's
and
what
I
we
was
call a
just
surprise
like,
round.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then he
Sneak
launched himself
attack,
out
it's
the
a
door.
rogue.
So
That's it.
so did I need to make any checks for Thistlebottom to make that thing for me, or did I just need to tell him the story?
What did you want him to make for you again? Oh, right, the thing.
Talkie talk.
No, he'll make it for you. He's interested.
Okay, cool.
He finds it fun. So basically, as of right now, it has been a couple hours since then, and he has sent someone to return to you with a finished makeshift product.
Cool.
The fact that
I
the leader of a-
definitely left out of
Like
the
to-
story the part where this weird dream monster left us a teleportation circle, because I don't understand what that was
Yeah.
about.
For
But-
sure. For sure.
The fact that like the leader of like an entire kingdom just like casually makes weapons or like mechanical arms that are like like ridiculously high tech and just like amazing. You know what? Like great side hustle. It's like if
Yeah.
if ruling a
This
kingdom
king
doesn't work
shit
out,
Doesn't work out.
it doesn't work out. It's fucking
And clearly it
go
didn't.
build some stuff. Oh shit! Yeah, it did.
So
So-
what product did they give me? What does it look like?
So it was an axe type you requested, right? To be able to cut into the tree.
Well, I wasn't sure what exactly was possible, but what my hope was that we could make like a long
Mhm.
serrated like string
So,
that people
yeah.
could like pull on and cut the trees with.
What was delivered to you is like basically just imagine it looks much nicer than this, but if you took a very, very long piece of chicken wire and on either end like fastened it to a long carved wooden dowel that could be used as a handle, it's basically that, but when pulled taut, you feel, even pulling at your full strength, Ruby, you are not even close to feeling the metal snap.
Cool.
As well, when you touch it, you feel a very coarse edge, and feel if you pushed your fingers into it, you would begin bleeding.
Cool. I'm gonna go test it out on that tree that Kit fucked up.
All right. With the current length that it is, it does require 2 people to use.
Cool.
Hey
Anna's
Anna,
definitely
you
at that
wanna?
tree still.
Yeah, go.
Anna's
go help
definitely
with
still being
that.
like, just like staring at it and like, maybe I could like laser beam it. Maybe. if I
Hey,
just
Anna.
hit it really hard. Yeah.
This might work.
Oh, that's a string though. That's not gonna work. Ruby,
It's not a
you don't
string. It's a saw.
It seems like a really flimsy. I mean, like, did you see those axes?
It's made
that I
out of
used?
some
Seems like
really
those
good
melted
metal.
immediately.
It's made out of some really good metal. Trust me.
Okay. And it's gonna take the other side and very dubiously start sawing. He's like, this, like she's looking really pitifully at Ruby and being like, I'm so sorry your string's gonna break, but like not
All right.
saying it, but like it's gonna melt. I'm
So,
sorry."
like a
Cool.
knife through butter, the saw goes through the first layer of bark.
Sick.
Each layer gets tougher and tougher to saw through, and after about 5 minutes of sawing, you find you are both about a quarter of the way through the tree, and have both worked up a extreme amount of sweat, both from the exertion now required to saw through each layer of bark. As you now find that the tree is strangely, it's like there's a layer of bark, then a pocket of this molten sap, then another layer of bark that is slightly thicker, then sap, bark, sap, and each layer gets thicker and thicker as you get towards the core of the tree. And it is now requiring an extreme amount of exertion to cut through. As well, the extreme heat from the sap is lighting nearby grasses on fire and singeing the ground beneath it, and the heat is making you both sweat even more.
And it's like, this is hardy string.
After about a good hour and a half of almost continuous sawing, your arms both feel like they are on fire, but you manage to cut enough of the tree that it falls over with a squelching sound, as there is now a small river of lava-like sap pouring from the base of the tree down towards a nearby dirt and grass ditch, the grass quickly burning away, leaving only dirt.
Okay. I was worried that he was like going towards the town and we're gonna actually set all of it on
Slowly, like
fire.
molasses, the molten dribbles towards little Timmy, who is standing there licking a lollipop.
Honestly, it's like gotta do some Avatar things. Get the
But
volcano stuff away.
you do manage to finally saw your way through the tree, noticing that there's still lots of sap inside the tree, and from the stump, it seems like the sap is almost bubbling up, like a bleeding wound, like a wound would bleed.
Well, that's a proof of concept, at least.
I don't like the way you described that.
It's like a lava sap well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Create Water on top of it again to try and
Okay.
contain some stuff.
Yeah, so you create water on top of it, and there's a loud tss, as the water almost instantly turns into steam. You notice that the sap on top hardens and becomes it's like a almost clear reddish substance. It's almost like the color of blood, but it's slightly lighter.
I'm concerned.
I bet you Stena could chromatic orbit with like ice.
Then, after a small pause, the hardened sap is pushed along as more sap wells up and takes its place. After a while, the sap seems to die down from the stump and stop flowing out.
Can I make a nature check to see if the forest is going to be mad at me?
You can, yeah.
Because I don't. The way you're describing it makes this sound awful sinister. When that's not my intention at all.
A bleeding wound.
Not great. 14.
I mean, you reach out to the forest, and
It seems
much
like-
like cutting down any other tree, you get the feeling like this is such a small piece of such a great whole that while maybe more connected or more like similar in certain responses to other life forms than other trees you're used to, it's much the same as cutting off any other tree in a forest. If you don't start mass deforestation, it's not going to notice.
Cool.
So I don't think we're close to mass deforestation, Jesus. But they definitely want to cut down a lot of these trees.
Well, so
So I think we should probably try to figure out
I don't
another
know if-
thing
I
other than
don't-
cutting them down.
Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily really need to cut them down. What they need is to find a way to harvest the energy produced by these trees and store it in some sort of battery. And I bet there would be something in the Grand Artificers thing for that.
So, are you guys going to
Yeah.
continue investigating the trees for a little bit, or are you done with the trees for the day?
I wanted to look at several documents in our possession. So I have Eric's file. I want to see Stena's file again, and then I also have like the deed to the Silver Chain estate. I want to look at that as well.
So then, before I move on, what are you specifically looking at in Eric's file? Or what are you? Is there anything you're specifically looking for?
I want to look for any mention or anything that might be related to the council members.
Okay. Make me an investigation check for that.
Anna is gonna be like staring at the rope that Ruby gonna like just like cut, and then be like, "I knew rope was superior.
it's
I
not rope,
am
was
founded
made
in
out of
my
that
beliefs.
metal.
I'm
It's made
founded
out
in
of the
my
metal.
beliefs." Anna is just like
Anna
roaring
feels
with
a
like
surge of power as her conviction her conviction swells.
This is fundamentally not rope.
If Anna
It's
was a
not
paladin,
braided. It's not made of fibers. It's made of metal.
if Anna
She's
was a
just
paladin,
roaring.
her smite would be 10 times stronger now with the power of her belief.
11.
Okay.
I love that rope is my god.
So looking through, you notice, I mean, the most notice you find is to Grand Salamence Therese, as it seems like your cousin, whether you knew this or not, and whether he was or not, at least his family, until the mother became the figurehead she was a devout followers of Pelor. Especially Eric actually went and spent time, you don't know whether voluntarily or not, at the Temple of Beams.
Yeah. That's where he was during that one summer vacation.
There you go.
The only hymnal that is sung at the Temple of Beans is "Beans, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot."
You'd fit in great there, Poop Monk.
You did that. I didn't do that.
I did
That was so
everything.
good,
You're
though.
still fitting great there.
I'm still doing great.
Okay, and how about on the deed to the Silver Chain estate and also in Stena's file, is there any mention of Threll or like the Grand Salamence?
Okay. For the deed to the Silver Chain estate, you don't notice anything in particular in connection to any of the three council members. As with Stena's file, you also do not find any immediate connection with any of the three council members.
Okay. Damn it.
There's no mention of Adelaide on any of these documents, right?
Not that you can
We
find.
know who that is?
It's the person that Gonzo referenced before he kind of went kaput.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. Man,
Anyways,
there's
I
so
think we're
many
done with
things
the
we don't
tree.
know. We still don't know who
Yeah.
kidnapped us.
Mhm.
I
Uh,
have hunches, but don't
yeah,
know.
but we don't know for definite.
I just feel like we don't know anything. We don't know enough about any of the organizations we've come across to know
Anna,
who it was.
figuring that we're done. Okay, Anna figuring out that like we're done with the tree. It's just kind of like skip towards the town, just like rope, the best thing, and just vibing, just having a wonderful time with the rope, and like just being like, hey, did you know that rope can cut down those trees? I didn't know either. Well, I should have known. Rope is just the best, and just like going up to random villagers and saying this. It's gonna have a great.
Anna,
great...
shut the hell up.
Does it look like the sap is going to stop flowing out of this thing?
At this point, the sap has stopped actively flowing out of the tree. Yeah.
Okay. I'm as well as that worked, I'm not sure if this is really a sustainable way to do this, because it's left this big like basically just a big mound of like hardened magma tree in the ground.
The unfortunate thing you do notice, Ruby, is where like the small river of magma is, just all plant life is just burned away.
Yeah, and there's no like is there from the part of the tree that like the actual tree that fell down, does it seem like now that the sap is leaving, it's not like producing its own heat anymore?
It seems like, yeah, the tree has, while not completely cooled to the touch, has definitely cooled down quite a bit.
Okay.
Well,
so maybe what we really need is more of a like a maple tap thing where we can redirect the sap into some kind of generator.
We'd also need
While they're trying to chop down the trunk, can Stenna dig to try and find out what the roots of the trees look like and what if they might be connected to anything?
Sure.
You would also need to find something that can like actually hold something that's so hot because everything kept melting before.
So if you're just digging, Stenna, make me a strength check.
8.
So you get about, after about a solid maybe 40 minutes of work, you get a good, like, with the help of some skeletons, 8 feet down. You find that the roots go down, a lot of the roots go down pretty deep. Best you can surmise is they are vast, long, and interconnected.
Are they also warm?
To the touch, they are. Not hot, not as hot as the tree trunk itself, but they are warm.
Does it look like they're connected to like the other trees in the area?
With a yeah, it does.
Like mushrooms.
There are also there are species of tree, like there's a whole forest that's just one tree, like in real life, because of the way that it grows. That's interesting. We've gotten a lot of information and I don't know what to do with any of it. I think this is probably the best bargaining chip we're going to get before tomorrow. maybe
think-
after tomorrow we can go and try and go to the Grand Artificer to go and get something that might help. But
So then,
What if we
what were you
use
gonna
like
say?
so like we mentioned last session about like using the trees as forges, and we could use like that could definitely work. Like we don't need to destroy each tree. I mean, we would still be destroying, but like we wouldn't have to like go and cut it completely
The problem
down.
with trying to use the trees as forges though is
You need
they
airflow.
melt iron immediately. Like that was a thing. They melted it immediately, and you need to have control over the heat in order to successfully use a forge.
If we were, I don't know how we would do this, but if we were to punch a hole in it and make and like contain the sap within the tree, so it's just heat radiating out, not sap
Yeah.
leaking out, then we might be
Mhm.
able to do that, because you could get like good airflow going through it or something.
We'd
I
need to
still
make
have no idea how to
a
do that.
drill out of that metal then.
Yeah, and I think we might need to
Yeah.
like make like a casing to go inside of it out of that metal so that it doesn't just drip
So,
sap everywhere.
with it being the end of the day,
That's
we will do this. So I will let you guys.
mm,
There are. So there are 3 things to keep in mind that I will now be telling you and we'll be going through. So I recommend writing stuff down so you just have this down. There is the town requirements, like what the town can sustain and what they can. What the burdens the town can bear or has to meet before it starts to get really bad. So the town makes in total 500 gold a month, the entirety of the town.
okay.
They require about 200 pounds of food a month.
Okay.
Currently, they need to pay the crown 300 gold pieces a month in taxes.
Well, that doesn't really seem too swell. How much food can you get with 200 gold?
And they receive 120 pounds of food a month in taxes. Or they receive that from
Okay.
the taxes.
So they get 120, not the 200
They
pounds
do
of
not
food
get
that
the
they
full
actually
amount
need.
from the crown. They need to trade, buy, or hunt the rest.
Okay, so 120 pounds from taxes, and then they pay 300 gold, or no, 100 gold to
They-
the crown.
They pay
200.
300 gold per month. They require 200 pounds of food. They receive 120.
And so then they
So
have
they need to find 80 pounds of food on their own.
Mhm. Find, trade, make. Yeah.
At this point, you guys have enough time in the day to ask around, research, and see if you can find out, whether it be talking to the townsfolk who have talked with the lords or the entourage of the lords, or asking questions of the guards, the servants, or the entourage of the lords themselves. Find out what you can about the personal agendas of the 3 lords. You can choose one person to focus on, but if you focus on one person needs, which means you get advantage on a investigation roll on that person. One of the 3 gets disadvantage, or you can just take all 3 as straight rolls.
Is it possible to do these as insight checks?
These are investigation checks.
Are we doing this on our own or individually?
This is a group roll, so
Okay.
the group chooses one person to make the roll for each lord.
I would like to find out more
Um,
about this Brandlebaum guy, because the Lord of the Wild Hunt is interesting. That's a Fae thing. That's
I think it's best to do
I
all
would like to know
3
more about
as
them too.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's best to do all 3 as
Straight.
straight rolls because I mean they're all important. What do you guys have on your investigation?
I've only got a +1.
Give me a second.
I'm wise but not smart.
I think I have.
I'm
uh,
smart
has
but
a-
not wise.
yeah, I have a +1.
+6.
Okay, Stena should do it then. I have a +4.
So is Stena making all of these rolls, or do we have
Mhm.
to pick one person for each?
One person for each.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Stena,
So then
how about you do Brand
Who do we want to know about the most?
Stena personally wants to know about Threll because she knows that they're somehow connected to the broker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
Then
sense.
How about
I want to know more about Brundlebomb next. Then
okay, so all 4 of us are going to be rolling.
only 3, I think.
No, there's only 3.
Only 3 rolls.
Okay. I'll roll to find out about the Grand Salamance then, and one of you guys can roll.
All of you have higher than me, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I can roll or
Like what's your bonus, Kit, to
just
investigation?
+1, just like you.
Oh, okay.
All right, then. As well, the other general information that you all know is the crown. The crown's biggest wants are priority access
Okay, I'll
for
write these down.
its troops and its VIPs to the dungeon over everyone else, and a monopoly or large share of the wood in the area.
So they want to deforest all the
They
things.
at least
They
want a
want all the
monopoly to
wood.
the rights of having it.
To the dungeon and
Those are the 2 biggest wants of the crown.
okay, and we don't know the wants of these guys because
That's
we're
what you're
rolling
trying
for
to
them.
find out.
Okay. Okay. So
I'll
if
be
I'm
right
rolling
back.
investigation, I got 16 on
All right, 16, and you're rolling
Brandel,
for
but-
Brandlebomb?
yep.
Okay, so you know what you were able to glean and find out about Brandlebomb. You know he is the Lord of the Wild Hunt, as well as
Yeah.
something known as the Master of the Rootway.
Master of the Rootway?
The Rootway?
Like as in like ROUTE?
ROOT.
Or okay.
like
Okay.
how all
Okay,
the
got
roots
it.
are connected.
It seems to be like the Wild Hunt is a more of a special forces unit. The Rootway is more of a information gathering and dissemination unit. It seems, as you have found,
That's why he
Lord
wants
Brandlebomb is
information
the
too.
main source of information brokerage in the Empire.
Oh.
The other things you can glean with a 16 is it seems like the Wild Hunt has been doing small amounts of research into the uses of the bark of the tree and its durability and flexibility in ranged combat.
How have they been doing that without having like slabs of the wood?
You can still get samples, or you can find an already fallen tree.
Oh, yeah.
I think
that was-
I think they've been doing research, but they haven't had a way to actually harvest much of it.
It seems the other large interest of the Wild Hunt is finding and securing interesting and exotic game for the nobility to hunt, for that is a large source of their income through sponsorship, is hosting these grand hunting tournaments.
I'm immediately like checking on Helios through the connection.
Yeah, like, wait, hey. Finally, the thing you were able to glean is that while not necessarily a desirable route, all 3 of the lords could much more easily be convinced if the people of this town were to be offered up in one way or
In
another.
what
What do you
way?
mean the people?
As for what you're able to find out about Brandlbaum, it seems like the Wild Hunt and the Rootway are in dire need of basic runners for dangerous messages in wartime, serfs to retrieve arrows during active archery practice, as well as serve as potential hunting targets during live fire trainings.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's
Hey, I
not-
mean,
that's
the
not too
people
bad.
here need jobs, don't they?
Oh my god.
Kiva
Go
doesn't
get
have
some
a problem.
gainful.
So if you
Kiva doesn't have a problem with them shooting at people.
I mean,
keep in mind, this is the option to take. It's the easy way out, but it's trading people's lives for
Yeah.
personal
They don't.
favor.
They don't do good.
And that is what you can find out about Brandlbaum.
15 for the Grand Salamats.
All right, so for a 15, you find that the Temple of Beam's main priority is they have a keen interest in specific artifacts from the dungeon. They are very, very interested in trying to find a preserved and live example of one of the trees itself that they can find and move to the temple, as the Grand Salamant seems to believe that these trees are potentially a gift to them from Paylor.
Mm.
Even though they are a country away.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, would I think that it's possible to get the seeds and grow this on its own? Like,
You are not sure. The other thing you're not sure about is how much of an invasive species these trees are.
Oh, true.
yeah.
Um,
Although I'm not too worried about that so much because it seems
True.
like these people are fairly liberal with the the destruction of things that they don't want. So
True. They are also seemingly interested in potential. It seems like research has been done into potential medicinal or preservation methods that the sap could hold. And
Could I-
finally, you find out through a. Once done with this line of questioning, very unnerved and seemingly scared servant who you find that they are also very, very quietly, as this is not something often talked about within even the folds of the Empire back at home, looking around for those who could be or wouldn't be too missed, as they need to fill the ranks of the flagellants.
What do you mean? Flagellants? What do you mean?
You do not necessarily know what those are. Kiva might, but would
I
need
know
to roll a
what
history check.
what
It
like
is-
flagellating yourself is causing yourself pain in worship to a god. I don't know
Yes.
what this group is.
The flagellants.
Oh. So they
9
just
plus
really wanna
7
hurt.
is
Oh.
16.
So historically, the Holy Land of the Sun, that was this the Temple of Beams before it was subsumed by the Empire of the Sun, and they were told that they could no longer use sun, like the sun itself, as part of
Yeah.
their own iconography, which is when they switched to beams. This kingdom was a theocracy that was a very militarized theocracy. And the largest part of their fighting force and the reason that they were so feared was a shock unit called the Flagellants. These were, at the time, generally either unfortunate prisoners of war, people branded as heretics, or prisoners of the kingdom itself, who were, through various methods of both unfortunate amounts of torture, medicines, semi-divine magics, and other practices, basically transformed into mindless, fervent berserker type units that ran screaming headfirst into battle, wearing no armor, brandishing very sharp, very heavy weapons, and throwing themselves without fear of death into the front lines. They are technically banned and not allowed to be used, but yeah.
Real quick, can I try and find one of the seeds of the trees?
Yeah, absolutely. Make a nature
Cool.
check.
That's a 16.
Or like just like random people. For the Splatulence true.
Yeah, they're not too discriminatory about how they take in. They'll find a reason. So looking in the tree, you don't find any obvious signs of a seed until you look inside one of the layers of the trunks after cutting it down, and you notice these small, almost like gem-like objects, except they're squishy to the touch. Once you manage to fish one out and cool it down, it's almost like a fruit, but it's inside the
Oh,
tree.
that's so cool.
And once you open it up,
Squish.
inside you find what you could guess to be a seed.
Could I like find a little like bucket and fill it with the soil from here and cast Druidcraft on it?
Sure.
One of the abilities of that is that I can instantly make a flower blossom, a seed pod open, or a leaf bud bloom.
Okay. So it seems like planting the seed and casting Druidcraft, when you do, you get a sense that the roots almost explode outwards with life, taking up most of the space within the pot, and almost instantaneously leaching all the nutrients from the soil, from the small amount of soil within the pot. Upon doing so, you see a small white stalk begin to grow out of the dirt, which has a light amount of steam coming off of it, as it is radiating an extreme amount of heat.
I'll switch out the soil and then probably just leave that.
All right. Anyway, that is what you were able to find out about the Grand Salamance.
For Thrall, it's a 25.
All right. So you know that the Cult of Plenty is also very interested in the dungeon. However, they will not say why. They are most interested in procuring the sap from the trees. They say it is for various rituals and practices, as well as they believe it could be used in some sort of culinary way. As well, they seem to be looking at trying to use the bark of the tree for different medical means as a way to form a better and more solid cast or splint.
For any of these people, is there any signs of like negative or positive opinions from them about Triana specifically?
Not that you can gather asking around. They all seem to have a general air of respect for her, as they see her as the de facto leader of the town.
And someone that could kick all their asses.
Finally, you find out that, as with the other two, the Cult of Plenty is always looking for new converts to join, and is more than willing to accept as many as would like to join their fold.
Is there any like hazing ritual to the new converts would have to go through. I
And
mean,
the
like,
Cult of
I know that
Plenty?
they all like,
The Cult of
yeah.
Plenty's bad.
You
That's full of
I know they
that's
already,
full
like-
of self-flagellance and stuff. That's
you do not actually know much about the practices of the Cult of Plenty.
Mm,
It is very
cool.
all of their practices are a very, very closely guarded secret for only those within the order.
Well, maybe some people in the town are masochists and sadists, and so like, I'll just like open that avenue for them, and maybe Thrall could help us a little bit. I know we don't necessarily like Thrall, but I
Well,
don't
I
I
really
don't
see
think I like any
another
of these people.
avenue for that.
Calling all
Yeah.
townspeople for an
None of
S&M
them really
opportunity.
are great.
I mean, we have this huge bargaining chip that
Indefinite.
not only do we know the metal that can work with these trees, but I know where to get it.
Mm,
And I don't think any of these people do.
yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard to get, but we do know where it is. So we could, in theory, make like like we have a way of cutting it down and harvesting the bark. That'll make Brandlebutt happy. We have a future potential way of harvesting the sap, which it seems like the other two would be really interested in. And I have a way of giving them a seedling, a sapling of one of the trees.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a pretty good position to.
Plus, we went into the dungeon and came out, so we
Yeah.
have
Good inside
experience
knowledge.
with that they don't.
I think on the because they want the crown wants like priority access to the whatever. I think that
Mhm.
we maybe should agree to that on the stipulation that they have to pay a higher price and that money goes to the town.
Yeah. I'm down for that. I mean, I don't think they'll like that, but I do think that that'd be good. I mean, like, they won't be chopping down a lot of those anyways because they need that specific metal first. And so I don't think Ruby would just give up that metal. I don't think Alana would just give up her arm to make more of
No.
those like things. So like,
I
really think that
I
it'll
mean
probably-
because they wanted priority access to the artificer's place. And
Yeah.
so right now they're charging entry. I think you should just be able to pay a
Oh,
lot more to
yeah.
get priority entry, but that
Uh-oh.
money has to go back to
With
these
the trees.
people. The trees also, I don't think that they should have a monopoly on the whole land because that doesn't make any sense. But I don't know how to
They
make them agree to that.
I think
could potentially have a sort of a monopoly on the trade of the trees, on like the cross ocean trade.
yeah. Maybe domestic trade.
It
the
could
village has
be,
control over that.
yeah. That could be something to talk about because the thing is we need
So,
to appeal to the crown, but also to the individuals, which is very fun.
yeah, I definitely think that like having them pay more for the dungeon would definitely be good because I mean they will if they wanted a shit ton of money, then even if they paid like a ton of platinum pieces, they could get like even more platinum pieces if they get
they're-
through the
yeah.
dungeon.
And they're VIPs. It's not like any of them are going to be short on money. Like,
Okay,
Mhm.
can we
So-
discuss all of this with Triana?
One last thing. I know that Triana destroyed the underground chamber where the first tree monster was sitting. Are the mines that we like tried to fake out 12 and his group with to in terms of hiding the heart, are those mines still existent and could we use those as no one is currently using these mines? If you stock them with people or if we just have people from the town work there, we could produce goods for you.
Mm.
Because all of that infrastructure was pretty good.
Didn't we destroy that?
I thought we set up traps though in one of them, but I don't know if we ever used them or they went off.
We set up traps in a cave with the heart in it. I don't know if that was a mine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so
We
the
used-
tunnels under the town where the dream monster was got destroyed. My
Yeah.
my family's factory, we destroyed that. That
I thought
like,
we
all
used
caved
like the
in.
leftovers of that factory.
Yes,
to, like,
but
hide the
it's
heart at one
in
point.
terms of functionality. I mean, it would take a lot of money to get that working again.
Yeah.
But if that was a production floor for like these crazy whatever. If
When
there
we
was a
destroyed it, but-
mine, if there was a mine, then that might be still workable. Because we just destroyed the production, the factory part of it, where they were making the parts for their weird zombie mechs.
But if there was some kind of pipeline with where they were getting the supplies or the metals, maybe that would still be somewhat, at least physically intact to be used.
Potentially.
Is there time to figure that out before
know.
it's like the middle of the night?
Yeah, I think we have like pretty good trading options. I mean, like giving them international trade monopolies. That we can grow a sapling, which we know that like one of them really wants. The fact that we have like they'd have higher access to the dungeon, but like they would have to pay more for access. Like I don't think that would be any sweat off any of their backs, and I think they're getting what they want.
Do
I
have
mean, like they might try to.
we do
push for
have a
more,
method
but-
of at least Brandlebaum and the spider
put up
person both want the bark, and we could harvest a lot of bark pretty easily because the outer layer of it we were able to cut through
isn't
that
as hard.
well.
I think that our main advantage here is Ruby and Alana are the only people who have that metal, and we are all the only people who know how to get it. And so that is something that they cannot get from anywhere else, that information.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because let's face
There-
it, for the other stuff, it's like they could just set up like a thing around the dungeon and just use that. Like
Yeah.
they could just like block other people from getting in. They could kidnap people from the town if they wanted to, but they can't get that metal, which
Yeah.
lets us harvest like parts of
Well,
the
I think they probably could get the metal. We can't. We're not strong enough. We would die. But we know where it is. And that's really our bargaining chip is knowing where to get it.
Are there any oaths and stuff that we could like swear them to that they wouldn't like take this information and immediately like just kill us all or something?
It's
Unless
called
you
not
have- there's-
giving
there
them
is
the
a
information
spell.
yet.
There is a spell that does that, I think, but I don't think any of us are high enough spellcasters to be able to do that.
Cool. Awesome.
I mean, you could do like Zone of Truth, but that might be a bad idea.
Yeah, they have high stats, I bet. I wouldn't want.
It also, I bet they would, because they would definitely know you cast it, and I think
Oh,
that would
for
be
sure.
they would be
That'd be-
angry at us.
Awkward taco.
Let's talk to Triana about all of this, and then
Sorry, I will be right back again.
All right. So then, you
Sorry.
guys all reconvene at the tavern, meeting with Triana. And she goes, "Well,
Mhm.
I hope your day of preparation was fruitful."
Anna shoots finger guns and says, "I found out that rope truly is God."
We
know?
figured out how to harvest parts of the tree. We figured out how to harvest some parts of the trees. And we are also the only ones with information on where to find the materials that let you harvest the
That
trees.
sounds like it could be useful for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's rope. It's a good rope.
Anna, shut up.
Are you sure you don't want to be a paladin, Anna?
Hmm?
Conviction seems like really to be your strong point.
I mean, you're already.
Anna's going through a crisis. Anna's just like,
Here's the thing, though. You're basically already a paladin because you're a cleric and a barbarian.
Anna's just like looking at her hands, like, who am I? What am
And
I?
I mean, a crisis of faith is a classic paladin trope.
Would I just give up everything though to become a paladin?
That's only a question you can answer.
No, I'm asking logistically. Would I give up everything to become a paladin?
Oh yeah, straight up. We could talk about that if you wanted to, but yeah, or you could just take a level in paladin when you level up. I don't know.
Oh, then I'd be triple classing.
You could try class. It would be a disaster, but you could do it.
Yeah, absolutely a disaster. I
Um,
also wouldn't be able to rage and be like, Kiva got a boo boo anymore. That'd be sad.
Triana, thinking goes after you talk about the information you found. Well, it's definitely good. I can't say I condone giving anyone away to any of these people, but I assume none of you were thinking of doing that anyway.
Nope.
Looks pointedly at you, Stenna.
They have bones.
Are you
I think
again?
as long as we don't promise anything, implications are okay.
All right. Well, I think that sounds good to me.
Implications?
Yeah, implication.
We're not giving people to anyone, Kiva.
Well, dude, we're not promising people to anyone.
No, we're not
Even if
giving
we
anyone to
imply-
anyone.
Implying that
if
it
we
would
do,
be
they
a
might just steal them.
possibility
They could just steal them though.
is not
We
necessarily
could
bad.
potentially say that it's a possibility for willing participants. But
Exactly.
selling
I'm not just
is
gonna
not-
sell people into slavery, Ruby. Who do you think
That's
I
what you're
am?
talking about.
No, I am not.
Yes, it is.
No,
You're selling them
I
into
am
serfdom.
implying.
That's different.
I am implying.
No, it's not.
I am,
I know.
I am implying that it would be a possibility that they would be able to gain more followers here or whatever. I'm not saying. Yeah,
That's
we'll
not what
fucking.
you said before.
It's
You
just
said we're going to
indentured
imply that
servitude,
it's
Ruby.
possible
It's
that
just
they're going to
indentured
take from
servitude.
people.
They could eventually.
I never
get
said
out
that
of
the
it,
people would be
maybe.
unwilling.
I mean, there's freedom in death. Come on.
No.
Wait, what is that one? Okay, I'll say this on stream.
All right. Anyway, Triana goes, well, it sounds like we've as prepared as we're going to be. I recommend getting a good night's sleep. We're all headed into the lion's den tomorrow.
Before we sleep, Kiva is going to spend some time with Anna and Stenna and make sure that they have nice clothes to wear.
Anna is definitely. So I'm guessing that these things have like a bit of like frilly, like it's looser, or like in some places, like Anna's kind of
Kiva's
like
not buying you
playing the
things.
slinging them.
I feel like
Slinging. I mean, we
like,
have them
Anna
from
would
last time
probably
when we had to
have, like,
pretend to be
priest
nobles.
gear. Like
I do. Anna
Anna
doesn't really.
you
completely
would probably have a
misunderstands.
priest outfit.
Stella completely misunderstands the purpose of this trip. So if we pass a milliner, she just you see her go in there and you think, oh, maybe she's trying to pick like a hat or something. But she comes out with Flilbert with a tiny little hat on top of him with a bow on it.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
Good.
That's the best. Okay, Anna definitely. So we definitely have like the noble clothing or like the nicer clothing that we had when we had to like sneak into the area where Kiva's aunt was. So we definitely have that. And I think Anna's just like fiddling with it too much and just like swoosh, swoosh, and just like doing that with her arms that she eventually gets told to just put on her priest gear.
Anna, what god do you worship? It's Aldeth, right? That's
Yeah,
the
Aldeth.
god of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Kiva has a
Pacifist
sudden
goddess.
plummeting feeling. Oh God, I never gave them etiquette lessons.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
that's tangentially related to uh uh
Palor?
Palor. Yeah. So I mean,
And
yeah,
I would
just-
not trust Anna to make any diplomatic decisions, but
No,
Anna's
no. All I'm
pouting.
Kiva, I'm just gonna instruct Anna to like not like not speak unless she is spoken to.
Okay. Anna's
Anna-
pouting.
Anna, you have sudden
Deeply.
flashbacks to your time at the temple and being told to be seen and not heard.
Yeah. Like, all right.
And then they're going, you know what? Actually, don't even be seen. Just go.
Just be part of
it's
the
not
wall.
that we don't like you. It's just that most of the things you say don't make any sense.
Sure. Yeah, makes totally sense. Yeah. Not like I'm a super powerful summoner that like has like all the properties of rope and it's like it's okay.
You have all
Anna?
the properties of rope.
all the properties of rope just being fucking
Anna?
awesome.
Anna,
You personally have all of the properties of rope.
Yes.
Your
Anna,
physical form
if
I
is
am a
like
string
rope.
bean. I can be tied.
Anna? if you do really well tomorrow, I will buy you a brand new fancy silk rope.
And it's like kicking the wall, like you said that
Kinky.
you're gonna give me rope before, and you never actually gave me rope. So I don't really understand. We're like, so you keep making these promises, but I don't really think that you're following. through.
Anna, pinky promise, I will buy you really nice rope if you do well tomorrow. If you
And his eyes get really,
behave.
really serious. It's like, pinky promises cannot be broken, right?
I am aware.
Swear on your soul when you pinky promise.
I know. But
All right.
only if you behave.
I the best well behaved. Yeah, I've just got this.
You'll
in the
be
bag.
respectful. You won't just
Mhm.
talk
Yeah,
about
totally. Mhm.
you won't talk about nonsense. You'll
I definitely not nonsense. Definitely things that make a lot of sense.
you won't agree to anything without like us also agreeing.
Careful of the mind link also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can use it once we're in there because the spider person is yeah.
She'll know.
Also, what's up with the thing that they're sitting on? Why does it look like the heart and why
well, possibly just for aesthetics, but also
I think that it's
thing
too
that thing is for people
Suck.
Yeah.
being mind controlled.
that's
It's
what
not
I'm
great.
saying is that it's 4 people holding up a heart. That can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, Anna, just don't say anything dumb, please.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Yep.
Anything dumb? Oh, hello.
Oh,
Hi,
Hello?
there you are.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of.
Okay. I will definitely not say anything dumb. For sure.
Kit, I am talking to you now.
Yes.
Please, please, we cannot afford this.
Oh, also, I was gone while you were talking about it, but I think that the fact that Anna is a cleric and a barbarian makes a lot of sense because they're two very conflicting classes. Maybe it might make sense like story wise for you to eventually switch to paladin because that would work. That those two would synergize better. But right now, I think
Yeah.
it's fun to have the two different ones.
So,
I like
Kiva,
it
do you
too.
make the pinky promise with Anna?
Yes.
All right.
I
So s-
know she has
Promises.
common sense. I've seen her use it before.
All right. So as soon as you
And I am considering bringing up the Sword of Damocles just to get her to think, but I'm not going to do it yet.
as soon as you lock pinkies,
Oh,
a very strange feeling comes over your body for just a moment before fading away.
If only we had a fairy, we could make some fairy
would
promises.
we
and
know
would
that
be-
this is like the? Did we just make?
All I have to do is buy her some rope. If it goes well.
Alrighty. Anna's like, Anna like all of a sudden straightens and you realize that she's much taller than she has been. She grows like 2 inches and she's like, all of a sudden like everything on her is just like pristine and clear. Like, I'm ready for the discussion.
Thank God.
So I'll see you in the morning. Okay. See you in the morning. Good tidings. she goes to bed and immediately goes to sleep.
Thank God. Okay.
Making you wonder, why didn't she do this entire time if she could do this?
Kiva understands on a spiritual level why, actually.
Ruby is gonna spend way too long getting their like their full fancy monk regalia stuff out, and then is a little bit afraid to go to sleep right now or to meditate right now, but is going to do it anyway.
Okay. So upon meditation, you feel a sense of warmth in this town. You feel a sense of familiarity with the minds of the monks around you, and also a sense of safety with as you can feel Alana's presence still within the town as well. At least within the limits of the town, you feel safe, comfortable, and in control.
All right.
The night passes uneventfully, and in the morning, you are woken up as the sun is rising by Triana's son, as he comes, knocks on all of your doors, informs you that breakfast is being prepared downstairs, and also informs you each of the vintage of the day that he himself had personally selected to pair with breakfast.
I love this kid so much.
Fucking wine. He's a wine aunt and he's 12. I love him.
I love him dearly.
And as well has informed you that the towels have been changed over and fresh ones have been prepared as the day has begun. And you are currently the only guests in the inn, so it's much easier to take better care of just 2 rooms than a full house.
He's come a long way since he was a rabbit.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anna is very like straight backed, sitting down at the bar. Actually, doesn't even sit at the bar. Sits at a table. Doesn't sit at the bar. Sits at a table, and then like starts very delicately like eating the food that this young child has brought him.
Kiva's
And he's like,
also
"My
getting
compliments,
into
Bishop."
character.
Ruby is ready to be very quiet
My
until they
compliments to the
really
chef.
need to talk. Because they are fully preparing themselves
And he
to be
goes-
fuming as soon as they see these awful people.
Anna's just eating bacon.
Anna goes, "Oh no, I wine this morning. It's too early to drink. it would be very irresponsible of me to drink so early.
Kid shrugs. Suit yourself. Walks away.
And it's like you see behind, like in the depths of Anna's eyes, like her like crying, but like not actually crying, just being like just watching the cup of like wine go.
Kiva sees the pain behind her eyes and is just so glad they don't drink.
As you guys finish up eating, Triana comes out from behind the counter where her personal quarters are located. And you see that she has dressed up in her best. She has her hair, which generally is chopped to around her shoulders, has been slicked back with some kind of gelled product and tied up at the back into a more put together and organized ponytail. You see that she has freshly washed. She appears to be wearing a much more decorative and ornamental hybrid between like uniform and armor, where it's mostly like cloth and leather, coat, pants, similar to like similar to what you'd see a general wear, but the shoulders are armored. The elbows and other parts, there's a small piece of metal over where the heart would be. The pants are made of a thicker material with padded knees, but they still look part of the uniform and presentable. They seem to be dressed in a very formal battle attire, which, as you can guess, seems to be the nicest clothes they own.
For the record, Kiva's gonna be wearing. Do you guys remember the robe that like old man version of Remus was wearing?
Oh my god! You're wearing.
I'm wearing the king robe. Yes, because Kiva modified it to fit them. So they're busting out like their old circlet that they had for some reason. Like they're going all out here.
Mm-hmm. So you see Anna turn like very like casually and like sees Anna, and nothing changes on her face visibly, but you see the wood of the table splinter under her hands, and she's like just gripping for dear life, like, and then like turns back like very casually back to her meal and just continues to eat very casually. Nothing to see here. She's also using mending to try to make the table go back to normal.
So Triana sits at the table with all of you and joins you. As you guys are finishing up, she is seemingly sipping the remains of a cup of tea, and in the other hand holds a half-eaten fruit of some sort that she is finishing off as well.
Anna, I feel like you should get all this tension out now before we go in there. So if you want to just like scream for a while, then
I have no idea what you mean, Ruby. I'm always like this.
I can see the table splintering.
And as you're saying that, like Anna's already is mending, and it's like I don't see what you're talking about. I really.
You're casting a spell. It's fairly obvious.
Oh, that's just my everyday routine. Just make sure that everything is spick and span. Just really
Triana,
making sure everything.
Triana looks from you to Ruby to Kiva, Stenna, settles back on Kiva after trying to like figure this out and goes, "What did you bribe her with?"
Rope.
Makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't make sense.
Sapphire also has a little bow tie on.
Got it.
Oh, Hercules definitely has like a little like also has. I would say like it's a bow tie, but it's not a bow tie. It's like a present bow on like the tip of like his horn.
Triana looks at the beetle, back at Anna.
And he's not coming with us. He just
okay.
Okay.
I was like, they're gonna think it's a gift.
Wait, I can't hear you.
I present to you a beetle.
Oh.
I was just saying that they're gonna think it's a gift.
Oh. Yeah. I'm like, okay, Herc, you know the drill. You gotta be on your best behavior. Actually, help out around the tavern if you can. Just be your wonderful self, Herc. Everybody knows that you just have a beautiful soul deep within. So just be your wonderful self. And then-
Hercules clicks.
Awesome.
A
I'm gonna
singular
give
click.
him
Do I know
some-
where
some
Helios
food.
is at the moment?
Checking in on the mind link, Helios seems to be perched on top of the roof of the now abandoned but what was once house of the blacksmith.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say like stay away from the Fey Lord guy. He might try to, I don't know, do something to you.
At the impression of Hunt and Brandlebaum, you get a sense of acknowledgement from Helios and a sense of revulsion.
Good.
This bird knows who this dude is?
No, but Kiva said Hunt. So with that, as everyone finishes up their food, Triana stands up first, looks at all of you. Well, let's not keep them waiting.
I guess. I would have. I think I have put both the sapling and the like saw thing that we made in the ring.
Okay. So you are all walking to, at first the town square, where with Triana at its head. When you get to the town square, you notice that the entire town is actually gathered outside, as overnight it seems the servants and the builders and the various workers specifically from the Empire had been hard at work, and a building had been erected in the center of town. It looks like one that most of you really haven't been in. Kiva, you have, as this is a very official building. This is like, when you're walking around the lake in your hometown and you see like the courthouse of your town. It's like that kind of building. On the front it says it shows a picture of a sunbeam coming down onto an open field, and the doors are open.
Anna
I'm
steps forward.
following
Says,
Triana.
come on.
I'm not taking the lead here.
All right. So Triana heads inside
Anna
first.
says, come along, folks. We shouldn't tarry.
Yeah, no, Kiva's like half a step behind Triana.
Yeah. Inside, it feels almost as if you had stepped into both a cathedral and office. It's a strange feeling. There are people there going about working on things that need to be done, putting on finishing touches to the building. But at the same time, in the same room, you see on various to either side, as those working are in the center, there are stained glass windows, altars for worship, people kneeling in pews, and even small groups of both children and adults singing in choirs, quietly, on either side of the room.
By the way, I'm like making sure that Stena is like in the middle of all of us, because Thrall at least is involved directly with the broker, and therefore
heading inside, Triana looks extremely confused and somewhat lost, as it is evident to you, at least, Kiva, that she is not, at least hasn't for quite a while, handled a very formal occasion.
I immediately take the lead.
But after a brief pause, a human male in a purple and black outfit, matching that of similar to the color scheme you saw with Threll and the Cult of Plenty, walks up to you. This person seems to be similar to like a steward or a maitre d' of sorts. They're in a very nice tuxedo style outfit, very well polished shoes, hair is very well kept and maintained, absolutely no facial hair, and a bright and seemingly well practiced smile placed upon their face. Welcome. You may call me Daniel. I am here to show you around and help you for the day. Our three esteemed lords are waiting for you up in the great debate hall. We will get there shortly, but first, I'd love to show you around the building and tell you about the great and wonderful things that our empire has brought and accomplished within these last few years that we're hoping to show with this new building.
Ruby is already fuming. They hate this.
Of course. That
And it's
sounds
like, of
wonderful.
course, Daniel. No, I would love to see you.
Wonderful, right this way. And a tour of the building begins. I would like two of you to be able to make investigation checks for this tour.
Stena and Kiva. That's.
Or,
Oh,
sorry,
inside.
investigation or perception.
Ooh. My perception's only +3, so.
Oh, I only have a 3.
I have +1, so worse.
I have a +5 to perception, so I'll do that. But
Okay.
it's still only gonna be a 9.
Okay?
Yeah. I mean, investigation or perception, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't
so
matter. It
it's
was a
still
nat 20.
Okay. And then,
Oh shit!
Anna, if you would like, I would let you roll insight on this person.
Yay!
Can I do that as well? I'm
You
really
may,
good
Ruby,
at insight.
yes.
Cool.
It
I have a
is
+6.
a 17. I got a 17.
I got a 19.
All right, so this person is very
Shit.
much well practiced in their lines and very much following a script.
Mm-hmm.
The smile is bright, large, and goes nowhere near their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be distressed or in pain or like scared in any way. It mostly seems like someone resigned to the job they are assigned to work at.
Is it like the same like resignation that Anna would have felt, or is it like resignation as in like, oh shit, it's another 9 to 5, or like
I work at Starbucks. I understand.
Yeah, it's that.
That's that, okay.
I work here. Okay.
okay.
Just get through the day.
Excellent.
When it comes to the, PR and political bullshit that he's about to be spouting, it seems like some of it he believes, some of it he doesn't. But really what you can gather is, while somewhat normal for dignitaries, quote unquote, to be given a tour of whatever building they're brought to, this is also a tactic done to delay for time for one reason or another.
Mm.
Anyway,
Would our insight help us understand maybe why he would be spending for
for
time?
your best guess, to observe you here, to see how you act, to see how you react in a territory you're not familiar with, gather more information, various reasons, final preparations, whatever it could be.
They think Anna isn't familiar with this temple bullshit. This is her element. Okay, continue.
As you are brought along, you are brought to various different rooms, showing either various art exhibits, interesting artifacts found in expeditions around this current continent, or historical paintings of the Empire. You hear, various things like, and here you see in the Year of Light 1210, which was roughly about 150 years ago, our Lord, the current Lord of the Empire of Light, was found to be adding to the current circle of 11 to bring our number to the Holy 12. This was destined by the Lord of the Sun himself, and truly the peoples of both kingdoms fully rejoiced once this union was finished. It was the end of a long period of strife and hardship that neither side wished for, and both felt a great sense of kinship once this unity was finally established.
By the Lord of Light, do they mean like the Solomons? Like,
No, he's basically talking about he's basically giving a history of how the Kingdom of Light went through and conquered the 12 kingdoms that are now on the Circle of 12, but basically giving a doctored version of how everyone wanted to get along and have peace, and what really both kingdoms wanted were to be conquered by the Kingdom of the Sun, and
of course,
it was only, the loud minority who stirred up trouble and caused a war to happen in the first place.
Yeah, that's how it be. Totally.
As you were walking about, Stenna, you do notice various hallways that you may be being led through a little quicker than most. And as you are rushed by them, you do notice various figures catching glances at you, whispering, maybe seeing the group and quickly ducking into a separate room or turning around and moving the other way with extreme purpose.
When this happens for like the second or third time, I'm gonna have Flowbird drop his hat on the ground and like kind of far in the direction of where these people are running off to, and then apologize to the guy showing us ring, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me just pick that up for my familiar, and like see if I can hear or see anything further down the hallway."
Okay, make a perception check at disadvantage, because as you say "I'm sorry" and start walking down the hallway, the guy goes, "Oh, no, let me get that. You're not allowed down there technically. I'm terribly sorry, but I need to."
Okay, so slightly canceling out the 20. I rolled a nat 1.
So you don't hear anything except for the guide now basically almost like loudly apologizing directly in your ear as he is nervously trying to usher you out of the hallway you just walked into. Finally, you are brought to a center chamber, at the end of which appears to be a large staircase leading to a pair of double doors, which you could best assume is where the three lords are waiting for you all. It's at this time you notice that Triana is no longer with your group.
Excuse me? Like, she left or was still left behind?
Where did she go?
Oh, yes, of course. The dear Madam Mayor was called off on urgent business in the town, but she did mention to me that she had full confidence in your group and assured me that you all could have the best interests of the town at heart.
That's some bullshit.
Yes,
that did not happen.
Bullshit. She would not have done that without telling us, but I'm not.
Someone want to
Also,
roll insight?
when
I'll
did she
roll
leave?
insight.
We've been walking with her the whole time. We would have seen that. She was in front of us.
I'm gonna roll insight. Excuse me. Stop doing
I'm
the
also
higgly
rolling
wiggly.
insight because this is some bullshit. Ooh. 22.
The person speaking to you is gazing at you with conviction and seems to fully believe what they are telling you.
Mm. Interesting.
So, do I know why I didn't see when she left? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Make Make an investigation check.
Ugh, not very good at that. But
Or perception.
perception. I'm better at that. Well, that's a 19 plus 3.
Looking around, you now notice at each of the hallway arches, so each of the entrances to all the hallways, there appears to be a pattern carved into the wood that you hadn't really paid much attention to before. But looking at it now, it appears to be each of the archways has a similar pattern of leaf, vine, and mushroom, which, looking at it as a whole, seems to be each hallway having its own individual fairy circle. If charged with magic, potentially making this entire building a completely unsolvable maze.
The fuck?
So is
Um,
Trina fucking buried, like spirited away? Like, what is?
I'm 90% sure that what is happening is that these people want to talk to us alone.
Yeah, I know that they're trying to separate us. They're trying to make like the actual figure that like they know already, that they know is like responsible, doesn't have any influence over us. But like I'm more worried that like they just fucking pushed her into like a fairy circle.
I
Was
want to
actually about
try
that.
and communicate to Helios that he should like keep Lucas, the boy, away from this building.
You get as you send this message with a sense of urgency, you get for the first time, serious acknowledgement from Helios.
Good. Thanks.
So sorry. What is the nature of these fairy circles? Do they send someone to the Feywild, or do they simply make these hallways confusing?
It seems like from what you can gather, it's not that Triana was sent to the Feywild. It's that these hallways are, unless the person who created this maze wishes to let you out, a maze with no exit.
And I'm
real
assuming we can
question
sort
is,
of
do I-
figure out who made it.
Yeah. Do I call attention to this or not? Because I mean, this person seems to believe fully what he's saying, so he's not going to be able to do anything about it.
I think maybe we should just keep it in the back of our minds for now.
Okay.
Because frankly, if we have to make an emergency exit, I think we're just going to be busting out a window.
I can create bonfire. This place is made of wood. Doesn't
Fair
matter
enough.
how magic
Yeah.
it is.
See, magical wood burns like normal wood, motherfucker.
I got my flask that I can just fucking oil the whole place up.
All right. That being said, I'm assuming you all head up the stairs.
Yes.
So, with a polite bow, your guide leaves you to your devices and walks away. And you head up the stairs, now facing the double doors in front of you.
I mean, I'm gonna knock twice.
There is a brief pause before the voice of the Grand Salamance comes from behind the doors. Please, enter.
I'm gonna open the door.
I feel uncomfy.
All right. So you open the door and are immediately met with a well-lit, bright, and sunny room. It is a golden ballroom. 6 pillars on each side of a large hall. Too large to realistically fit in the building, but you're used to that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The Walls go up to about halfway, and the rest is taken up by panes and panes of glass. Absolutely clear glass, seemingly to let as much sunlight in as possible.
Makes sense.
The center of the room is furnished with a singular, long, brown, and ornately carved wooden table, on which seemingly is carved the full history of the Empire of the Sun. On one end sits the three lords. Behind them, above them, is mounted a large metal relief of the symbol of the Empire. This symbol is the official symbol of the Empire and not shown much outside the capital, as this is the symbol of authority and power that the king himself wields. You see in front of you what appears to be a somewhat broken circle, inside of which is a completely neutral-looking mask. This mask is in drawing the color of the moon, a pale white ceramic. The eye is blank and lidless, the mouth neutral and closed. The mask, however, is broken, halfway down. And coming out the other side is a face awake and bright, round and shining, as it is the sun poking out from behind all those who would ignore it and look away, showing that truly, in the end, the sun shines through all things and dominates all things.
So it looks
Gross.
extremely similar to my catalyst.
Very similar. The rays of the sun on the other half of the mask are shining out in such a way that they poke out from the bounds of the circle itself, making it look like there is a half circle on the side that is still masked, and the other side, the circle is completely destroyed by sun rays poking out.
Okay, so which side of my catalyst looks more demonic? Is it the sun or is it the moon? I can never remember. And is being encroached on by
Neither
other
looks
right now.
demonic nor angelic. One side looks at rest and one side looks energetic.
Which one is the one that's encroaching on the other at the
It
moment?
seems like currently this on your catalyst, the sun is the one who's taking the most space.
Okay. Alrighty. And so like it's a broken mask. It's not like they're two halves fused together. They're broken.
It is a shattered mask.
Okay.
This mask deliberately is cracked to show the sun shining through behind it.
Okay. Okay.
The three lords regard you all. The Grand Salamence nods. Please, make yourselves comfortable. And she gestures to they gesture to the three chairs at the other end of the table. Or not the three chairs, the four chairs at the other end of the table.
I was so fucking scared.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's not a fifth chair. They were not expecting Triana to be here.
No, they were not. But we're gonna ignore that.
Can I roll perception on the chairs?
Sure.
18 plus 5, 23.
They are ornately carved wooden chairs.
Good. Okay.
A little insight into their vibe right now.
Sure.
I would also like to do that.
Why does it
Like to vibe check the council.
vibe check? We need to do a vibe check. Vibe checks are very
19.
important.
Calculating. Calm.
Calculating. Okay.
Interested. And amused.
Interesting. Alrighty. Anna is gonna like very smoothly move to one of the chairs to the far the chair furthest from the door at the moment. and sit down.
Are all of you sitting?
Do I think that it would be rude to sit?
No, you feel like they invited you to sit.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. Is one of the chairs like sized specifically for Kiva?
No.
Okay, then Kiva's not gonna be sitting per se. They're gonna be like standing in like on the seat of the chair.
Yeah.
I think. Would Ruby think that it would be rude to continue standing?
You don't know if it would be rude, but you at least feel like it might be questioned.
Okay, Ruby's just gonna sit then.
Once you are all seated, the Grand Salamence nods, and Lord Brandlebaum then speaks up. It is lovely that all of you can join us. I do abhor these long meetings and very much want to get this out of the way. So please, if you wouldn't mind, and he snaps, why don't we get this over with? And with that, a attendant walks forward. This attendant is dressed in a dark green and brown, similar to as they walk along. It's almost difficult to keep a focus on them. They seem to molt and blend in with whatever environment they walk next to. But they finally stand next to you and lay down in front of you a rolled up piece of paper with a formal seal on it, not yet sealing the paper. And he goes, please, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just sign that, all these formalities could be over and we can be on our way.
Definitely gonna read that.
Very obviously going to read that, yeah.
I also do I get the sense that casting a spell right now would be a bad idea?
Probably.
Because I want to cast Detect Magic on it because this world has magic writing, and I don't want there to be secrets in this contract.
You could probably it would be noticed, but you get the sense that casting Detect Magic is somewhat like part the course of this whole like contractual debate thing. And it's like an unspoken rule of like, if you don't cover your basics and check to see if you're getting scammed and you get scammed, it's your fault.
Cool. So I'm going to do that for sure.
Of course. You do it. They clearly notice, but they say nothing.
So what does it say?
So the contract doesn't appear to have any hidden writing or, magical missteps that would trick your brain. Reading over the contract, it seems like the contract states that the tax rate would not change. It would be 300 gold a month. The food rate, however, would be an increase to 170 pounds a month of food, as well as a contingent of guard that would be provided to the town for its safety. Housing, food, and clothing of the guard would need to be taken care of by the town, however. As well as formal training for the town to be able to allow those who wish to become lumberjacks and work with the town's resources and gain those skills to be able to. However, reading further into the contract, it seems like when signing, you agree to this training, and the training would cost the town an additional 150 gold pieces a month.
Are there any... I realize that this is probably not super important for our game, but are there any stipulations as to what kind of food is included in that 170 pounds?
So
because if it's just like 170 pounds of meat, that's not very helpful.
No, it appears that the food is indeed promised to be both sustaining and I will wrap things up to be able to continue them next time. to be both sustaining and nutritious in value. It's a mixture of fresh fruits, fresh meats, dried meats, breads, a mixture of what the town would need.
This is a shit contract, and I'm not gonna. It's not. Anna's not saying that. but,
Finally,
like,
the contract also stipulates that the kingdom would have exclusive and choice rights to allow those that they deem worthy and necessary to the goals of the empire to enter the dungeon with priority and free of charge at an exclusive access. And to allow such things to happen would require those who are not marked as special by the empire to pay a increased amount as an additional tax that would go to the empire's pocket to allow entrance to the dungeon.
wait, what would have an additional tax?
It would just be that anyone that's not marked as a VIP would have to pay to get in, and that money wouldn't go to these people. It would go to the empire,
Jesus fucking
which is
Christ.
stupid. We're not signing this contract. This is not.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why we have the authority to sign it. We don't live here.
True.
I'm okay. I'm gonna read over it and then look at them, and I want to say it appears you have training for. It appears you have knowledge of how to harvest these trees.
Harvest the trees.
And at that, Lord Brandlebaum goes, well, we have knowledge on how to harvest trees.
Ladies and
people-
gentlemen, we got him.
The people in this town know how to till dirt and grow carrots.
We all know that these are not normal trees.
Oh. Well, tell me then, what is it you have in mind? And with that, the lords all smile, as it seems like this will be a much more interesting negotiation than they had originally planned for. You see each of them, their eye glinting with personal greed, objective, and desire. Each one with an objective, each one wanting something. Maybe even something from one of you personally. However, that is something we will have to find out next time. As the lords prepare to negotiate.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for viewing us. Bye!
Yeah, bye.
Well,